Help me write the factorial function one more time. Okay, let's call it something else now. Okay, something. Parentheses. That's our Mekids. Someone coming? Yeah? So? Cool. Okay, now, I want to show you guys a very important tool. A lot of you, when you write code, wonder, wait, why doesn't it work? And basically, up until now, the only mechanism you had was to just read your code again and again and again until you finally sort of figure out what's wrong, right? There is a tool that will allow you to figure out what is wrong. Yes. Okay, so here's what you do. Your code is going to be inside of a regular file, right? So let me open up Sublime. Okay, you're going to have a file like this that I'm going to save to my desktop called, whatever HTML. Okay. Save. Save. Okay. Now I know how do I run this thing in my browser? I just go to my desktop and I double click on whatever. And there, it ran. And if I open up my DevTools, I go to console, I see 120. Right? You guys know that part. Okay, now, watch this. In your code, you can do this. Debugger. And save. This is called a breakpoint. Breakpoint. What is a breakpoint? There is a tool called a debugger, which will allow you to go through your program one step at a time. A breakpoint is where your code pauses and lets you go. Okay? It's where the code stops executing and waits for you. So let's have it wait for us right at the beginning. Now, if we go back here, here's how you use it. Ready? You open up DevTools and you refresh the page. That's it. There it is. This is the debugger. Now let me make this a bit smaller. Sorry, one sec. Okay. Can you guys sort of see in the back? Okay. So the line that is highlighted is where we are right now. If we want to go to the next line, we press this arrow, the curvy arrow. So then we create a fact, and then we go and we console log. That's the next thing, right? Now, if we want to go into the function, we have to press the down arrow. Right? Here we're calling a function. Let's go into the function. Now we're inside. What is num? It says it right there. Num right now is 5. If we hit, now sum is 1. You guys are seeing how cool this is? So now you're saying, well, is 5, you can mouse over it and see the value. Is 5 bigger than 1? Yes, it is. So let's hit next. So sum is now 5, right? Because sum times, because it used to be 1, now it's 5, so 1 times 5 is 5. Okay, then num at this, before this line is run, num is 5. But after I run it, it turns to 4, because we did subtract 1, right? So now, again, is 4 less than 1? Yes, it is. So hit next again. Next, 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 next. Ooh, it stopped. Why? Because num is now 1, and 1 is not bigger than 1. And what is sum? Well, sum is 120. So we hit next, and we're back here. And if we hit, and right now in the console, nothing's there. But after we execute that line, now it's there. Get it? So now, if you understand that, let me give you a bogus code. Let's change this to the, what was the POW that we were trying to debug? POW, that was like a num and an exponent, and here we had this was val, and we were returning num, and we were saying, do you guys remember this? We had val less than x. No, the other version, the version that was slightly wrong. And then we were doing num is num times num. And then we were doing val. Do you guys remember this? This is the one that was not right. I'm doing it on purpose. The one that was incorrect. And then you should make it change on val plus 1. Intro sense me bunch, eh? Okay, so let's now use the debugger to understand why this is wrong, right? So if you go back here, again, you refresh. Again, we're starting. We hit next, next. We want to go into the function, so we hit boom. Oh, shoot, sorry. Oh, by the way, notice what happened. Reference error. Fact is not a function. And you can see, oh, why does my code not run? That's why. See? Cool. Okay, so we need to change this to fact. For now. I know it's PAL, but whatever. Okay, so next, and we step into this. So now, num is, hang on, we should sense on that. Ooh, exp is undefined. Wait. Look what happened. I only passed in 5, so it says num is 5, but exp is undefined because I did not pass a second variable value. So let's go back and pass in the second value. Let's do 3. Okay. Again, next, step in. Okay, now exp is, oh, by the way, you can see the local variables here. You see? Exp is 3, num is 5. Cool. So we go next. Now we also have value here, val. So exp is 3, num is 5, val is 1. That's fine. Num is going to be 5, so 5 times 5 is 25. That's correct. And then we increase val by 1. Fine. But now look what happens. Num is 25 and num is 25. So when we execute them, it's 25 times 25, we get 625. Շմեկ են հասցը որտեղից։ This որ debuggerով միանգամից ակն հայտա։ Էտա կայքը։ Okay, and then you keep going, and then you see, oh, and we're done because obviously we're done. And so num is now 625, which of course is not the right answer. So you go back and you change your code, you rerun, and you keep using the debugger until you figure it out. If you move the debugger here, the first time it breaks is the first time you get into the while loop. So let's refresh. Boom. It starts here. Հասկացաք? Որտեղ որ debugger-ը դնեք, այդտեղ ինքը պաուզա կտա ու կթողնի ձեզ քայլ անցնել։ Ու տենց լոգիկայով հասկանում եք կոդը ինչ է անում ու հասկանում եք ինչքան ճիշտ, ինչքան սխալ։ Դեզեպ ես։ Ինքնին debugger-ը կոդի մեջ փոխել, բան չի փոխի, but generally speaking, it's considered bad practice to leave debuggers in your code. It's okay, nothing will break. It չի վնասի ձեր կոդը, debugger թողել է կոդի մեջ։ Բայց լավ կնի մաքրեք դա։ Ինչի, որտեղ եթե մենք փորձենք աշխատացնենք, անընդհատ ձեր breakpoint-ներն ենք խփելու, it's going to be a pain for us։ Որտեղ console-ի մեջ ենք ուզում նայենք, console-ը DevTools-ը, այս DevTools-ում այս միանգամից կջատվի։ Պաուզա կտա։ Եթե console-ը չի բացվում անենք, debugger-ը չի աշխատի։ If you don't have your thing up, see, I run it, nothing happens. I need my DevTools to be open so that when I run it, now it breaks. I highly recommend you use it for your homework. This will help you debug through your code. Yes, sir. Console log, console test next, step, code test. Այսինքն, եթե ես թողնեմ հասնեմ ստեղ, լոգի մեջի կոդը, չէ, որտեղ այդ native կոդը, չես կարող, եթե ես թողնեմ ստեղ, միապը, որ փորձեմ մտնեմ մեջը, չի թողում, միանգամից թողնում է այն մյուս բոքսայի մեջ, որտեղ չես կարող։ Բայց console log-ը եթե ուրիշ function տակ կա, ես ինչ անես? Console log-ի ուրիշ function-ը ասացեք վերևա։ Հա, այդ արդեն քո կոդը կնի, քո կոդի մեջ կարող ես մտնես, բնականաբար։ Okay. We good? All right. Any questions before we take a photo? None? Okay. Get in the middle. գնացեք, էլի միշտ գտվում են։